Hey everybody, Acid Rain 64 here, and welcome back to another part of Let's Play Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. In the last part, we completed the first dungeon of the Dark World and got ourselves the Magic Hammer. And now with the Magic Hammer, we can actually explore more of the Dark World and see what has happened to the Light World since Ganondorf wished it to be evil. So one of the first things we're going to be checking out is over by Link's house, and we'll see how Link's lovely home has been transformed in the Dark World. And it's actually turned into a shop, but there's really nothing we can buy there right now, but that shop will become pretty much essential later in the game. So now all we have to do is actually make our way there. So we have to backtrack all the way through this and head back towards the pyramid. But we don't actually want to go to the pyramid. So in the Dark World, you can actually still find fairy fountains. I think this is still a fairy fountain. Yes, it is, which is good. Apparently, Ganondorf couldn't put these fairies away, and they are actually fairly powerful. And the fairies in this game don't really play a huge part. I mean, they do help you out, but I mean, it's not like. Actually, I'm trying to think of a Zelda game where they actually play a huge part. Well, I mean, if you think about it, I guess Ocarina of Time and Navi and all that, but in this game they don't really play a huge part. They just kind of upgrade you and make things easier for you. So you can only come down here where I'm going once you have the Magic Hammer, and now we can actually explore. If I could, I'd like trace out the region you can go to on my finger or on the screen. With my finger, as to where you can go before you get the Magic Hammer. But now we have access to pretty much the rest of the Dark World. There's still a few areas we can't go to because we don't have another item, but anyway, this way to the bomb shop. So that's the shop I was talking about. So let's go ahead and see who's chilling up here in Link's house. We have Mr. Blowy, who sells bombs, but that's really nothing worth buying. He does sell a mega bomb. I don't think that's what it's called actually, but he does sell a very large bomb that you do have to use for something later in the game. But we will do that when we get to it. It's actually once you defeat a few dungeons, you can actually go there, but you got to do like I think 4 or 5 of them to actually be able to do that. But you can do it earlier than what you're supposed to. So here we have trees. And this one says, "Wow, I haven't seen a normal person in a few hundred years. Let me talk to you for a while. I once lived in the Lost Woods until the day I wandered into a magic transporter. The power of the Dark World quickly turned me into this tree shape. I guess the two forests are connected with each other. And that they are, actually. So the trees now shoot bombs and they talk, which is really weird. Quit bothering me and watch where you're going around and you dash around. Redundancy for the win." Okay, and if we actually come down here in the circle of flowers, which is kind of actually hinting towards something, and we use our magic mirror, we will be transported onto this cliff that you can only get to from the Dark World. And what do we have in here but a piece of heart? Sweet. And that is actually our 13th one. Okay, so let's go ahead and head back into the Dark World. Now, the thing about the Dark World is the Dark World and the Light World, is if you go to the Light World and you can't get back to your portal to get back to the Dark World, all you have to do is go towards Hyrule Castle. If you go like past like the gate that like overhangs toward the entrance to Hyrule Castle, it acts as like a transporter to put you back in the Dark World. So that's really helpful. So let's go ahead and talk to this guy. After wandering into this world, I turned into this shape. I enjoyed playing the flute in the original world. There was a small grove where many animals gathered. I want to see that place again. I buried my flute there with some flower seeds. Will you try to find it for me? Yes. Then I will lend you my shovel. Good luck. Okay, and you borrowed a shovel. You can dig in many places. You never know what you'll find. Okay. And we got ourselves a shovel now. Now, let's go ahead and go back to the Light World. And we see this guy that we never saw before. Huh. So that is actually... Oh, shit. That's actually the guy here. But that was him in the light world. Okay, dang it. Huh. Okay, so let's go and use the shovel to find this guy's flute. So what you have to do is just dig around randomly. And he said it's by some flower seeds, so hopefully... There we go, right here. And we got ourselves a flute. Oh, here is the flute. Its music surely has some mysterious power. And if we go ahead and equip it, which actually that replaces the shovel, okay. And we can actually play it, but it does nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to the Dark World. And we're actually going to be getting a lot of stuff in this part and the next one. Because there's a lot of stuff to do before the second dungeon. I'm going to kind of split it up. Because, I mean, basically the last 3 parts have been kind of long. So I'm going to go back to that 10 to 12 minute format. But if we come over here, and this is actually going to take a bunch of rupees, but it's a good thing that we have a bunch. We want to head this way. And if you remember where that maze game is, you want to go back over that way. And there's actually a new mini game that's there, and it's a lot more annoying than the maze game was, by far. Welcome to the treasure field. The object is to dig as many holes as you can in 30 seconds. Any treasures you dig up will be yours to keep. It's only 80 rupees to play. What do you say? I want to dig. Alright, so there's a heart piece you can find here, and you can also get rupees. So, but you want to find the heart piece. And it's random where it's going to appear, which makes this kind of annoying. But you just really got to get lucky with this. Which, will I get lucky? Probably not. Probably not. Oh! There it is! Oh yeah! That was really, really, really lucky. Alright. Sweet. I remember my original Let's Play, that took me way, way, way too many tries than it really should have. But that was extremely lucky. Oh my lord. If this recording failed, I would be very upset. I would be very, very upset. Sweet. Okay, so that very annoying heart piece is out of the way, and that's pretty much the hardest heart piece to get in the game, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and go back to the Dark World. Or the Light World, I should say, because we're already in the Dark World. And we're going to go to Kakariko Village and play that flute. Now this is actually going to give us access to a very, very, very useful upgrade. Or not, it's not really even an upgrade, it's more of just a very useful little shortcut we can use. You'll see what I mean when we actually get there. We're going to need to stock up on fairies pretty soon. Definitely before we head into the next dungeon. Okay, so we want to go over here, and there's this weather vane that's in the middle of the village right here. And if we play the flute for it... and a bird pops out. Okay. Now that song, I was trying to think when I heard that song, it sounds very familiar, but I have no idea what it actually does. Okay, so the next thing we want to do, we're just going to be getting all kinds of expansions and power-ups and everything while we're here. I have no idea what's here. Okay. I think we've seen that before, but we can only get to it now, which is pretty interesting. Let's see what we got over here. Oh, okay, now we can actually hit this and jump into this well. And this is actually where we can upgrade our magic. I believe we want to come up here. Yes, and this is the only time in the game that magic powder is actually really useful. So we can go ahead and use it on this, and a bat pops out. Hey, blast you for waking me from my deep, dark sleep. I mean, thanks a lot, sir. But now I will change my voice 1,000,000 times. Is that okay with you, sir? Sure it is. And let's see what we got. Hehehe, I laugh at your misfortune. Now your magic power will drop by 1/2. Congratulations. Now do your best, even though I'm sure it won't be enough. Have a nice day. See you. Okay, so now we have a 1/2 mark up there, and basically what that does, it pretty much doubles our magic meter, even though he said he cut it in half. But, so now everything that we use will cost half the magic power that it used to, which is really good and basically essential, in my opinion, for the last dungeon of the Dark World. But for now, it's just something very convenient to have. Okay, so now let's go and get one last thing before we head back to the Dark World. We're going to go ahead and play the flute, and our bird will pick us up, and now we can warp to various locations on the map. Some of these are actually required to get into later dungeons, and there's actually a few that I think haven't even popped up on the map yet. So we're going to go and warp to this one, and we want to head up to where there was that weird stone tablet thing that we passed by when we went to the Tower of Hera, and I said we had to come back later. And we actually used the Book of Medora on it, and it said something about raising the Master Sword here and getting the power of Ether. And we're actually going to get that real quick, but we had to have the Master Sword, and now that we got it, we're pretty much set for that. And I think I might even actually, in the next part, head to the east and see what's over there. And there's actually a warp point that you can activate, but the thing is, you have to actually visit that area before the warp point appears, which makes sense, in my opinion, but yeah. So, do we have to go? Yeah, we do. We have to actually go to the Dark World here, which isn't a biggie, and even if, you know, now that we'll stay Link in the Dark World, actually, let's go ahead and talk to these guys and see what they got to say. You didn't change your shape. You aren't just a normal guy, are you? Nope. Wow, your shape didn't change. You got the Moon Pearl, huh? Yes, I did. But even as Link here in the Dark World, we can't really do anything. We could wander around and see what we have. You know, there's really nothing for us to do. So let's go ahead and come over here. And I think you have to actually use the Book of Medora. Hold up the Master Sword and you will get the magic of Ether. Alright, and we got the Ether Medallion. Its magic controls the upper atmosphere and polar wind. Watch your magic meter. Now I think what that does is it'll actually like light up areas, and we'll see more of that later. But anyways, that's going to be it for this part. We got a lot done. That's basically half of all the stuff we have to do for before we go to the next dungeon. So, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this part, please feel free to subscribe and do all that other good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next part.